Lina Torres drags herself through another sleepless night, unaware that one small mistake is about to change everything she knows. Her hands tremble as she unzips the black suitcase she thought was hers. Instead of clothes, she finds a stack of confidential corporate files stamped in red, Virex Industries. A sleek business card slips out and lands at her feet, Lucian Gray, Chief Executive Officer. The name hits her like a jolt. Everyone in finance knows that name. Ruthless. Brilliant. Untouchable. Her pulse quickens. She shouldn't look further, but curiosity digs its claws deep. Then her phone vibrates, one new message from an unknown number. You took the wrong luggage. Do not read what's inside. Meet me tomorrow. 10 a.m. Gray Tower. The words freeze her. Every line feels like a command, not a request. She stares at the suitcase, her mind racing between reason and temptation. Fear twists in her chest, but something stronger rises, the instinct to know why. The silence in her apartment grows heavier with every heartbeat. That single case sits before her like a secret whispering her name. And for the first time in years, Lina Torres isn't just tired, she's awake. Lina sits on the floor, knees drawn close, staring at the folder like it's alive. Every part of her says don't do it, but her hands move anyway. The seal cracks. Pages unfold. The numbers hit her instantly, familiar, sharp, impossible to forget. Falsified valuations. The same fraudulent data she once refused to approve at her old firm. The same betrayal that cost her everything. She opens her laptop, cross-checks the figures, her pulse matching the flicker of the screen. Line after line confirms it, those same forged projections now sit inside Virex's billion-dollar merger. Someone didn't just recycle the lie. They built an empire on it. Her throat tightens. A mistake, or a lie, she whispers, voice trembling with a truth she's not ready to face. The files blur as she exhales, but the realization doesn't fade. Whoever orchestrated this has power, and reason to silence anyone who uncovers it. For the first time in years, Lina feels the weight of the world she tried to escape pulling her back in. Not just with fear, but with unfinished business. Lina stands face to face with Lucian Gray, the man behind the name, the power, the company stamped across those files. His presence feels like pressure, calm but lethal. Miss Torres, he says, his tone cutting through the silence. I assume you have my property. She slides the suitcase forward, steady but shaken. I didn't mean to take it, she admits. They were identical. Lucian doesn't blink. And yet you opened it. Her chest tightens. I didn't know what was inside until. And yet you read confidential documents. His voice sharpens, low and exact. Lina swallows the instinct to shrink back. I read 2 pages, she fires back. And if you're referring to the Partner B asset sheet, that valuation is inflated. Either your team is sloppy, or someone's feeding you fiction. His expression doesn't change, but the air does. The CEO who opened with accusation now studies her like a puzzle he can't ignore. Lucian takes a single step closer, voice calm but deliberate. Sit. 15 minutes, that's all. In that instant, Lina knows, this isn't just a confrontation. It's the beginning of something dangerous, something far bigger than her mistake. The wrong suitcase wasn't an accident. It was an invitation, one that could expose a billion-dollar lie. Lucian's silence feels heavier than the elevator ride that brought them here. He leads Lina down a narrow hallway, past the walls of polished power and quiet deceit, until they stop behind a tinted pane of glass. She leans closer, eyes tracing the figures on the screen. Adjusted projections. Altered timelines. Profits built on fiction. No one flinches. No one questions. They nod, smile, and take notes, perfectly synchronized in silence. Her voice cuts the stillness. They're building a house of cards. Lucien doesn't respond right away. He studies her reflection in the glass, the way her conviction outweighs her fear. Back in his office, his tone lowers, stripped of authority. You think I'm being played? Lena meets his eyes, unshaken. No, she says quietly. You're being handed a loaded gun. And in that moment, Lucien Gray realizes the truth he's been avoiding: the threat isn't outside his walls. It's sitting at his table. Lucien sits across from her, no boardroom mask this time. His voice is low, almost reluctant. I've been betrayed before, he says. Trusted people who smiled while they dismantled everything I built. Lena doesn't interrupt. She just listens, not with pity, but with understanding. When she finally speaks, her words land with quiet precision. The truth only matters when powerful people decide it does. He looks up. That sentence hits harder than she knows. It's not defiance, it's clarity, the kind he's forgotten how to hear. Lucien studies her, seeing what she's not saying. She isn't chasing redemption or recognition. She's here because she can't stand lies wearing clean suits. For the first time, the space between them feels different, not enemy and intruder, but two people who see the same storm coming from opposite sides of the glass. He doesn't thank her. She doesn't expect him to. But when their eyes meet, the unspoken agreement is clear. A quiet alliance begins to form, one built not on trust, but on the courage to look truth in the face and not look away. Lucien doesn't tell her where they're going, only that he needs space to think, away from the noise, away from the eyes that pretend not to see. The drive is long, silent, and tense. When they arrive, the world outside disappears. The storm comes fast, cutting them off from everything except each other. Power fails. Candles flicker. The room feels smaller with every breath, the kind of quiet that leaves nowhere to hide. Lucien's voice breaks the silence, softer than she's ever heard it. Do you know what it's like to trust someone again after a long time? Lena doesn't hesitate. Yes. She tells him about the mentor who called her family, then destroyed her career to save himself. He shares how his own mentor sold his company's secrets for money that didn't last. Their words overlap, their pain familiar, their stories different only in names. No defenses. No titles. No power games. Just two people who've both been burned and somehow still choose to stand in the fire. And for the first time, neither feels alone. Trust is rebuilding itself in the middle of a storm, but storms always reveal what's been hidden. The storm deepens, wind pressing against the silence that holds them together. Lena startles at the crash of thunder, a quick breath she tries to hide. Without a word, Lucien takes a scarf from the back of a chair and drapes it gently around her shoulders. Wherever you are, he says quietly, someone should keep you warm. She looks at him, startled not by the words, but by the tenderness behind them. No power. No command. Just warmth, simple and human. Later, when he comes back from the rain, his hair still wet, she takes a towel without asking and begins to dry it, careful and slow. Neither speaks. There's no need to. The air between them carries more meaning than words could manage. The hum of rain fills the space where confessions might have been. In that fragile quiet, something begins to form, not sudden, not loud, but real. It's not romance. It's recognition, two souls finding a rhythm that doesn't demand anything, only understands. Lucien, this was my father's home, everything exactly as he left it. Lena, it feels like stepping into his memory. Lucien pauses, his fingers brushing a plaque on the wall. Lucien, always tell the truth, even if your voice shakes. Lena's eyes linger on the words. A realization dawns. Lena, so this isn't just about the merger. Lucien, no. This was my father's life, his principles. He wanted integrity preserved, even in business. They sit together, opening the original merger file. Lena's gaze sharpens as she examines the pages. Lena, these signatures, they're forged. And these companies, they're shells. Lucien leans closer, voice low, trembling with a mixture of anger and clarity. Lucien, this wasn't sloppy work. It was deliberate. Someone wanted to erase everything he built, and hide the truth. Lena, then we have to make it right. For him, and for everyone who trusted him. Lucien looks at her, a fire sparking in his eyes. Lucien, we tell the truth. Even if our voices shake. Lucien, Adrian's name, it keeps appearing. Again and again. He slams the folder shut, bitterness cutting through his words. Lucien, I trusted him with my life. Lena's voice is calm, measured, but firm. Lena, maybe your father was right. Maybe the truth matters, even if it shakes everything. Lucien turns to her, his eyes raw, guarded walls trembling for the first time. Lucien, I don't know if I can face it, if I can face him. Lena, you don't have to face it alone. We do this together. A pause hangs heavy, then Lucien exhales, a fragile resolve forming. Lucien, every lie, has a signature. He looks back at the file, voice dropping to a whisper, sharp with betrayal. Lucien, and this one, carries the name of a man I once called brother. Lena unzips the old suitcase, her fingers trembling as they trace a hidden seam. Inside, a small USB drive rests. She lifts it carefully, a chill running through her. Lena, this could change everything. She plugs it in, scrolling through emails, her eyes widening as the truth unfolds. Lena, the merger, it was altered. His signature, forged. She grabs her phone and dials. Silence on the line. Then his voice, steady, controlled, yet carrying that edge of determination. Lucien, I've read it. He pauses, the weight of what they've discovered settling between them. Lucien, tomorrow. 9 a.m. boardroom. You're coming with me. Lena swallows, a mix of fear and resolve coursing through her. Lena, I'll be there. Adrian stands at the front, confidence radiating from every gesture, every word. Adrian, and as you can see. Lucien's voice cuts through, calm but immovable. Lucien, stop. The room freezes. Eyes dart between them. Lena steps forward, plugging in the USB. Slide after slide fills the screen, emails, forged signatures, shell companies exposed side by side. Lucien's voice remains steady, unshakable. Lucien, I'm not accusing. I'm showing. Adrian's smile falters, confidence cracking. His hands tremble slightly as he glances at the evidence. The room is silent. No outburst, no chaos, just the subtle, undeniable shift of power. Lucien, truth doesn't need shouting. It moves quietly, but it moves everything. Adrian's facade crumbles. Faces in the room tighten, murmurs restrained, realization settling like gravity. The reckoning isn't loud. It's quiet. It's irreversible. Lucien sits alone, glass in front of him reflecting city lights, his expression distant, heavy. Lucien, if someone breaks your trust, do you forgive them? Lena enters, carrying 2 cups of tea, her presence quiet but grounding. Lena, if they mean it, maybe. But I'd never let them close enough to hurt me again. Lucien studies her, nods slowly. His eyes soften. Lucien, something's changed between us. Lena smiles faintly, placing a cup in front of him. Lucien, permanent, isn't it? They share a quiet moment, the weight of battles fought, and trust rebuilt, settling between them. Days later, Lena returns the old suitcase. A note rests on top. She reads aloud softly. Lena, I thought I just grabbed the wrong luggage. I didn't know I'd also pick up a life I never expected to live. She clutches her ticket to Paris. The final boarding call echoes. Announcer, final boarding call. She hesitates, heart heavy. Then a familiar voice cuts through. Lucien, Lena. She turns. Breathless, he holds the old suitcase in his hands. Lucien, I'm not asking you to stay for Virex. I'm asking because, for the first time in my life, I trust someone, with everything I am. Not my business. Me. Tears spill down her face. No words are needed. The plane departs without her. The company thrives under a new motto: integrity is our foundation. In a quiet garden, fairy lights drape the trees. The old black suitcase sits among blooming white daisies. A handwritten tag reads. Tag, some wrong turns lead exactly where you need to be. Somewhere in the hum of the night, a secret sleeps, patient, waiting, for the next discovery.